Okay, we're in section 12 on the examples now. So, one thing I know I give you pictures here, and we'd like you to look at the pictures that we're providing for you. But my problem over here is that, a lot of times you're not given a picture, you have to generate them. And certainly I'm not opposed to using technology. What I want to recommend though is you try to do things by hand, at least initially. So let me go through this with you. And the first thing I would do if I were given this system, and I'll talk about the better picture later, but I would just get a rough picture of it. And so, for example, the first picture I get is the easy one, which is x plus y is equal to 0. All right, I'll put axes down for you. And I'm going to claim that's a really easy graph to get. And that graph would be an equation of a line. And that line would look like, I'll do it in green. That line would look like this. All right, that's a really easy line to draw. And so how do you do that so quickly? You should be able to do it quickly. What is it? If you look at this thing over here and you rewrote this thing, it will be y equals minus x. So it's a line that goes through the origin with a slope of -1. Super easy to draw. All right, let's do the next one. And I'll write that down for you. And the next one's going to be, could you graph x cubed minus 5x equal to y? Well, I'm going to just get a rough picture for it. I'll do that one in blue. And the way I would write it down is I'd write down y equals, and I'd factor it. And it's going to be x. And then what would you get? Well, you'd get x squared minus 5. And I'm starting to realize it looks like a pretty easy problem. It's going to be x plus root 5, x minus root 5. So I'm going to plot that down, and I get 1 point at 0. I'm just doing the xy intercept there. And then I get 2 more points at plus or minus root 5. I'm going to say somewhere thereabouts. This is the point root 5 comma 0. And then I get a point over here minus root 5 comma 0. What I would do is sign analysis now. And what I mean by that is take points after root 5. Like root 5, I'd say 3 is after that. Plug it in. You plug it in over here, positive, positive, and root 3, 3 minus root 5 is a positive number. So what do I know about this thing over here? Well, I know it's going to be positive over there. All right. I would probably go below root 5 over here somewhere, plug in minus 3, you get negative. This would be negative, and this would be negative. What do you get overall? You get negative. It looks like this over here. And then I need to take a point, let's see, between 0 and root 5. I'd say 1. Positive, positive, and this would be negative. So I'm going to say, roughly speaking, it's got to do something like this over here. But when I do this, I'm not saying I know exactly what it looks like, but something like this, I think. All right, I don't know how low it goes, but I think it goes like that. All right. So this is the problem. We don't know how low it goes at this point. We could plot points, but we're not interested. So what's the next thing I can do? Take -1. It's between here. This would be negative. This would be positive. And this would be negative. So overall, what do you get? Positive. All right. Now, certainly, I do know something about this curve. And, certainly I'm looking at it. It looks odd. You could verify that it's odd. But I got to, what I'm looking for is I'm looking for these points of intersection. And I'm really not sure about them except one of them. I'm pretty sure that 0, 0 is a point of intersection. But what I want to do now is I want to go to the algebra. All right. And what's the algebra going to be? Well, you're taking the two equations. And the first equation I get is y equals minus x. And the second equation I get is y equals x cubed minus 5x, right? And what I'd like to do is make a substitution. Well, looking at it, I would just simply set the y's equal to one another. And what would you get? Minus x equals x cubed minus 5x. I'm going to see if I can solve that. That's x cubed minus 4x, right? That equals 0. I would probably factor that guy. What would you get? X. You get x squared minus 4. And then what do you get? Well, if I kept going, it's going to be x. Move this over a little bit. X plus 2, x minus 2. So you're getting 3 solutions to that. And the solution is going to be x equals 0, x equals minus 2, or x equals 2. All right. Let's go back over here and let's talk about these points of intersection. Now I want to look at a better looking picture over here. That's really the same picture, just a better picture. You notice that my picture is not really that good, but it's close enough. All right. Let's put these points down. That was kind of obvious. We got that one already. This point over here, well, I know it's 2. I just did that, but I don't know what the y is yet. We'll talk about that later. Do I know what this point is over here? I sure do. That point is -2, comma something. I'm looking at the picture. I could probably figure it out, but I want to point out I do know something. And what do I know? I know y is equal to -x. So it should be very simple over here. So -2 and 2, right? These answers are provided in your notes, by the way, and you should be looking at that along with the good pictures. Let's go to the next question. And again, the technique we have is a visualization. After we do a visualization, what we do is we do algebra. I actually prefer algebra to visualizations though, but a visualization is important. So let's go to number 2. And number 2, I want to write it down for you. And we'll do one picture at a time now. So we'll do this one first. Let me put my axes down over here. And I'm going to do the first equation I'm seeing, which is y equals. And what do I see? I see 2 minus 2x squared. Well, I know that's a parabola. I'm just going to factor it. It's 2. That'll be 1 minus x squared. We tend to give you simple problems, by the way. So I think I could probably graph that up pretty quickly. It's a parabola. X-intercept is pretty simple, plus or minus 1. The y-intercept is 2, which is also the vertex. It's up here somewhere. And it opens downward. It's like this over here. That's simple. We got that covered. Now, what's the next thing I would do? The other curve, a little more difficult, but I think I could probably put it down. I'll do that in blue. And what's the other curve going to be? Well, it's y equals, put this over here. And that's going to be, I'm just looking at it, looks like y is equal to 2x4 minus 4x squared. And I would add 2 to both sides. And what am I going to do? I'm going to factor it. And I'd factor a 2 out probably first. And you get x4 minus 2x squared plus 1. And I continue to factor it. 2. I'd say x squared and x squared would be reasonable. 1 and 1 would be reasonable, minus minus. Well, this is starting to shape up pretty nicely. What do you get? 2, x plus 1, x minus 1, and they occur twice. So I think I'm ready to graph this guy out. So what do you mean by that? Well, I just plot the points down. What points do I have? Well, plus or minus 1. I'm getting those points. That's pretty simple. And I'm getting a y-intercept of 2. That was pretty simple. And now I got to graph this thing out and see what it looks like. And this is the tough part. All right. So what do? I'm basically using sign analysis. And what's nice about this problem over here? What do I know about it? It's always positive. And why is that? If you look at it, no matter what, when I say always positive, except where it's 0, this is positive number. This will be a positive number, except where it's 0, by the way. And this will be positive. Why is that? They're being squared. So I got a good idea what this picture looks like. All right. Let me put that down for you. So I know positive here, positive here. In the middle, it's also positive, but I'm not really sure what it looks like. And this is the problem for me. And I want to point out why it's a problem for me. I'm not sure if it intersects more than once through those regions. I'm just not sure. I'm not sure. And this is why algebra comes into play. Now, granted, when you take calculus, you might be able to tell more about the structure of this thing over here. But right now, we're in pre-calculus. So what am I going to do? I'm going to take those 2 equations. I'll write this down for you. The one equation I have is y equals 2x4 minus 4x squared plus 2. The other equation I have is y equals 2 minus 2x squared. I need to solve this. And how do I do that? I set them equal to one another. So if y is equal to 2x4 minus 4x squared plus 2, it's also equal to 2 minus 2x squared. Let's see if we can do that. And what I would do over there, probably subtract 2 from both sides. That's pretty easy. And probably add 2x squared to both sides. All right, this is the analytic part. What do you get over here? 2x4 minus 2x squared. Well, the 2 disappears and you get 0 here. I'd factor it, probably pull out about a 2x there. And then what do you get there? You would get 2x, whoops, I'm sorry, x squared. You get 2x squared minus 1. I'm sorry, that's not, I made a mistake. I'm glad I have a picture though. I know I made a mistake, just look at the picture. 1 second here. I said I pulled out 2x squared, right? What would that be? That would be x squared then, minus 1. What are the answers from over here? Well, if you formally think about it, it would be x equals 0, x equals 0, x equals plus or minus 1. All right. I'm going to claim, looking at the picture, I'm convinced of that. I see one there. I see one there, which is plus minus 1. And I see one over here. Let's write the points down for you, though, and one at a time. What's this point over here? Well, the x is minus 1. What's the y? It's 0. You've already done that before. What's this point over here? It's 1. What's the y? 0. What's this point over here? Well, we've already done it before. What is it going to be? 0, comma 2. So we have 3 points of intersection, and our graph does show that. Now, granted, the graph that's being provided to you is a much better graph than the one I'm putting over there. But as far as I'm concerned, they're very similar. So the answers we're going to expect is 3 answers. Let's go to the next page and see if we see those answers there. All right. What do we see? We see those 3 answers. Right? All 3 answers are listed for you. All right. So I'm going to say there's really not much else to say about this section. We graph it and we use algebra to solve it. You're going to see the questions that follow are pretty consistent with the ones that we just did. Thank you.